Hello everyone and welcome back to more AEW on TEW 2020. I am here with the fourth week of April, final week of the month. Start off with our show of Dark. Wardlow defeats Kato Esper, who separates his shoulder. Thank you, Gail Kim. I didn't feel like writing this down. I had a few minutes that I needed to fill, so the North just do an advertisement about how cool the VIPs Club are. It's a very self-indulgent advertisement. Mainly, it's just the North doing things. They're employees, they were probably paid to do this. After this, Jordan Grace and Lavender Sky defeat Jade Cargill when Jordan pins Cargill. Jordan with a 63, Jade with a 26, 40s for the others. Cody, not concerned about that. The Boss Bitches then quickly get their revenge as they charge into the ring, not change into the ring, as they beat down Lavender Sky, and they, Jordan Grace is like, hey, she was my friend for today, so how about you stop beating her up? But they quickly toss her out of the ring, just focusing on Lavender Sky. Bianca Corelli and Roxy soon come out to help out their fellow Nightmare family sister, and begin brawling with the two members of the Boss Bitches. Jade Cargill still out from the fall from Grace. On the outside, Killer Kelly takes the opportunity to get Jordan Grace into a submission hold, and both fights are broken up as backstage staff rush out. They break things up. It's a very minor thing. This is a minor feud, but still gets up a lot of undercard women. Yeah. Future then defeat Enzo and Nat Murphy. Want to see how Murphy and Enzo do together. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Josh Fuller. 72, not great. Brian Pillman Jr. and Donovan Dijak are then seen in a backstage segment. Brian Pillman Jr. is speaking. Just all this talk about who the best teams in AEW are. All this talk about who deserves to be in the spotlight. Let's talk about who's the future of AEW. It's a bit boring, isn't it, Dijak? Especially all that future of AEW shit. Look at me. I'm Brian freaking Pillman Jr. I am the reigning MLW World Heavyweight Champion, and this guy right here, Donovan Dijak, he's one of the most underappreciated men in pro wrestling. The Future and the Acclaimed are bickering back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Well, you two gotta know your place. We're not just the future. We're the now. Finally, getting the Butchaliank into this feud that they've been meant to be in the entire time. Jeff Cobb defeats Lucas Fenrir. The Young Bucks defeat the Gun Club. The Troop are then seen backstage, and Matt Riddle takes command of speaking, and I guess Tully's actually not part of the storyline. Alright. Says Tully Blanchard, I get what you're trying to do. You've always been a serious competitor. You've always been someone just with as much grit and grind as you could have, but there's something you've always missed. Think of the original Four Horsemen, the original of the legendary stable, Ric Flair, Ole and Arn Anderson, and Tully Blanchard. It's what you made yourself famous off. It's how everyone knows you, and it's because of the success. That's a bit of a phrase. The success of yours and Arn's and Ole's in-ring work, and Ric Flair's penchant for the dramatic. That's what we're really trying to encapsulate. That Ric Flair is the reason that the Four Horsemen are so popular. Ric Flair is the reason why you got your name, and what he did, he had that penchant for the dramatic. We are just trying to bring something into pro wrestling that you and your band of serious folk just lack. It's nothing against you personally, but there's something that we have to do for the good of pro wrestling. Ashley Flair then defeats cheerleader Melissa. Terrible gimmick. Britt Baker then hosts an episode of The Waiting Room with the Hardy Boys as her guests. She talks to them about their legendary status as a tag team and if they plan to challenge for the tag team titles once Matt is healed. And Matt says that he's currently beginning rehab on his knee. Of course, he shattered his kneecap about a year ago. He's only just beginning rehab. He's about 3 months off. But in the meantime, Jeff is still going to stay in shape with matches of his own. And Jeff Hardy, the entire time that this is going on, he's kind of looking a little bit distant. And then he starts talking about Brody Lee and says he doesn't quite understand the motivation of the challenge that Brody is making, but he's more than happy to accept it. He says that Brody's a fantastic worker, he's fantastic in the ring, fantastic as a person, and the two of them are bound to put on at least a few good matches. Then Takahashi defeats Colt Cabana. Yeah. Thank you, Colt. And then in our main event, Sammy Guevara defeats Penta. Pretty good show of Dark. We move on to Dynamite. Our show of Dynamite begins with a really, really good match as Pac defeats Jungle Boy following a 450. Pac smiles as he sees Jungle Boy on the ground, and he asks for a kendo stick from some of the members of Brutality Inc. outside. But before he even gets the kendo stick, Miro's music begins playing, and Pac smiles. He's clearly not going to engage it anymore. He's been planning this. He knows that, hey, I beat Jungle Boy. I'm going to threaten to beat him up with the kendo stick, and Miro's going to stop me. Miro comes to stage. He has his hand up. He's, he's speaking to the mic. Just stop it. Don't hurt him anymore, Pac. Your fight is with me. I know you've already beaten me down once before, but there's something I'm more than ready for. There's something I'm willing to put my life on the line for. Next week, we'll end this. You defeat me, and you can choose either to have me join Brutality Inc., or you can have me leave AEW. But if I defeat you, you'll leave Jungle Boy alone. I'll even let you choose the stipulation for this match. Pac smiles, and instead of he still has a kendo stick. Now he's asking for a mic from Brutality Inc. outside. I'm imagining it's probably Killer Kelly. She's usually the errand girl for this. As well, isn't this a surprise? The legendary Miro, the Crusher himself, the man who powerbombed Renee Paquette, begging me like a dog for a match. Well, I suppose I ought to help you out. I suppose I ought to treat you what you really are. A dog collar match it is then. AEW has had some good dog collar matches. Dog collar matches, generally pretty good. At least if that's pretty sure it's a dog collar match that, two people are tied together. We're going for that. So, yeah. Main event of Dynamite next week. Already booked. After this, Garza's seen getting ready for his match, Koto's getting ready for his match that's up next when he's approached by Garza Jr. And Garza's like, Kota, if there isn't someone that's so pleasing to the eye to see, I know you have all your friends out and about in the elite, but there's a place for someone as attractive as yourself. You would fit right in with the Rose Garden, after all. People with looks such as ours have no place wallowing in the filth and the muck of all these other ugly people. He then probably, imagine he's wearing a suit right now, and he has the TNT title over his shoulders. No match today, he's very casual about this. Reaches into his pocket, hands out a business card. Kota looks at it and goes, please, if you're interested, I would ask that you seek out and join me for a dinner and business discussions of you becoming my right-hand man. Of course, no offense to Kip, but there's a little bit of a difference between you and Kip. He walks off, and Kota just looks at the business card and is like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? That's why this has been called the hottest feud. Kota is currently not the #1 contender, but, you can probably imagine that until he becomes the #1 contender, probably not going to be great things ahead for other people who are challenging for the TNT title. After this, he has that match as Ibushi defeats Rey Fenix in amazing match. After this, Paul Heyman is seen in his office hanging up the phone before talking to the camera. He says, well, I just got off the phone with the executives at TBS, and I have something very good to announce. The first ever special episode of Rampage will be taking place in 2 weeks' time. Yes, I'm more than glad to announce that a women's-only show will be taking place on the second Sunday of the month for Mother's Day. Well, a woman's match-only show. I have to be honest and say they'll be making at least a few announcements, and a few other people are going to be making announcements, I'm sure. Just be ready for the first women's ever show in AEW. Women's only show ever in AEW. Yeah, I just kind of thought, hey, You know, when's Mother's Day? I could probably just move Rampage back a day at that point. Have a Mother's Day special, where it's all women involved. Because I do have a pretty decent women's division. That's definitely going to be a weak show. I'll be like rating wise, it's going to be a pretty weak show. So that would probably be where that would be where probably Mayu and Utami's feud will end. There's probably a few other women's feuds I can end there. Again, there will be some other announcements. It's not going to be only women. I will have some guys on there in the segments, but the matches will be women only. Scorpio Sky defeats Bruiser Sheridan with a fatal answer. Defense of the FTW World Championship. That's one that we have. Jon Moxley then marches to the ring. He quickly scares off Scorpio Sky, who retreats to the ramp. Hammerstone comes out, is there. Moxley gets a mic, and he's, "You two little pipsqueaks can make your way out of here. You're only hanging on because the Bullet Club needs numbers. It's AJ, your leader, that I got issues with. You can call things a war all you want. You can threaten to beat people down. You can threaten to do whatever it is that you want to do. Yeah, I got respect for you, AJ. I know you're one of the best wrestlers, one of the best in-ring workers in history. You've lost a step, AJ. You've lost a step. The Bullet Club has lost a step, and AEW has lost a step with time. It's lost a step because it's brought people like you in. We were supposed to be a new era of wrestling. We were supposed to be going away from the old into the new, into a stage where what matters is the in-ring work, not the names. You know, all that we've been doing is bringing in those names, those relics of the past, like you and Shinsuke and Devitt and your goddamn Bullet Club. I'll take your war any day of the week, AJ. I'll fight you from Jacksonville to Seattle to anywhere in between and anywhere beyond. I will fight you anywhere that you need me to fight you. Moxley has been booked poorly. After this, we have another pretty long segment, a very good one. A bit surprisingly lowly rated, though. Punk is seen in Chicago. He's talking to the camera in a very casual manner and says, "Orange Cassidy's accepted my challenge, huh?" I don't know why I'm really surprised. Maybe it's just because I expected to hear the words from the man himself. And I suppose not everyone is much of a talker like myself, huh? Well, it's fine. But there's some other things that I suppose I can do. The wonder of AEW, the wonder that it's done for the past year or two, that it's brought the return of people to the ring who have been gone for years. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm probably the best example of that. Devon Dudley's been in the ring, but there's one that's gone under the radar, one that made big splashes when it first happened, and then silence. My own wife, AJ Mendez. I have all the respect in the world for Chris Jericho for letting her leave the inner circle. But now I think it's time that we get her back in the ring. She hasn't seen any in-ring action in quite a while since joining with Jericho. Again, all respect to the Immortal himself. Orange Cassidy, you're part of the best friends. You have your friends. You have Chuck, you have Trent, and you have Kylie Ray. I want to take you and Kylie on in mixed tag action. I like both of you. I want to see both of you in the ring. I want to see both of you succeed because you are some of the best young talent that I was so sad that I couldn't see during my days in the past when I was active in the past. I want to see if your whole best friends thing applies in the ring. So mixed tag, AJ Mendez and CM Punk against Orange Cassidy and Kylie Ray of the Best Friends. That'll be an alright match. Not a great match, I don't think, but that will be happening at some point. Griffin Slade then defeats Matt Cardona. And afterwards, MJF gets to the ring, and he is on the mic after the match. And he says, "I see what you're trying to do, Rami. You're trying to get under my skin with your cute little shtick of bringing Wardlow in. Now you've already seen someone who's going to be better than Wardlow ever was. Wardlow, you were a damn good bodyguard, a good meat shield. You proved yourself weak when you got yourself taken out for a year by Griff Garrison." Let me just repeat that. Griff Garrison. Let's not forget that all this started because you lost to Griff Garrison. But now I got someone bigger, I got someone better, I got someone with even more sky-high potential than a little man with a messed up brain. And, well, we all know how much a brain damage can ruin things, so I think it's best for not only yourself, not only best for the company's image, but for the best of everyone that you love that you just hang up the boots, Wardlow. I mean, you weren't getting much mileage on them anyway. I debated on whether or not to have a direct Chris Benoit reference in there, but I'll say that he's, for now, skirting around it. This isn't going to be a whole concussion angle, don't worry, that's way in the past and it wasn't even good back when it was popular, but, you know. After this, Io Shirai is backstage when she's approached by Chris Statlander. Chris is doing her weird alien things, ending with a boop attempt. Before Io pushes the hand aside, she says to Chris that she doesn't need to pretend to be some stupid alien, that she didn't need to pretend to be some stupid alien. In order to get to where she was in the wrestling world, she was just the best of the best. Io walks away, as Chris looks slightly sad at being called stupid. This is going to be a very quick feud. I want to get Io on the show for the Mother's Day Rampage, so that's why this is here. It's a very, very quick, very snappy feud. Shotzi then defeats Lady Christina. 36 isn't actually half bad for Christina. After the match, Ashley Flair was on commentary for this, and she gets up sarcastically clapping. And she says, "Good job, Shotzi, you defeated one of my court. It's not going to be nearly enough to get your stupid little tank back, but luckily for you, there's been a brand new show and a brand new special event just for the women. So how's about this? You have 2 weeks. You defeat the other members of my court twice each. I don't care how you arrange it. And you can have your little match against me for your tank at Mother's Day." Shotzi is angry about these frankly stupid odds, but she accepts them for the sake of her tank. So basically, she has 3 shows that she needs to get another 5 victories in. Or she can do tag or handicap matches. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, is it 4 shows? There's this Rampage. 5 shows. 5 shows, 5 wins. It's possible. After this, a black and white vignette of highlights of Ricochet and Darby plays, as Darby voices over and says, "Human highlight reel. It certainly has a nice ring to it, Banks. But it's got a lot on board for it to hype up people, and I wouldn't say that you're wrong about me being someone that gives it their all for the sport. Banks, I accept your challenge. Ricochet's a good wrestler. He's one of the best, but he takes things for granted. I'll do this because I know that it's just the next step in my career. I need to always keep moving forward. I can't just stay stagnant. I can't just stay there, take things for granted. It's not over until you're dead, Ricochet. And I know that I need to keep going. I have to take on more established people, more talented people to take on in order to get myself to the top of the mountain. You're just the next one up." And in our main event, Brock Lesnar defeats Lance Archer with an F5. This match should have been way better, but I feel like we have a cap on this. On face heel, yeah, okay, so both heels explosive and so, After the match, the Inner Circle get ready to rush the ring to take out Brock, but they're intercepted by Team Taz, cutting him off. Heyman laughs in the ring as he announces that he has temporarily hired Team Taz to deal with the Inner Circle, and Jericho will regret making Heyman pay so much money for this deal. Show ends with Brock and Heyman standing tall in the ring. Taz, he's just selling out Team Taz for a bunch of money. They need to do something, so this is something. 80 rated show. That's gotta be one of our best, isn't it? I feel like we're usually getting around 70 somethings, so yeah, good show there, and we'll move on to Rampage next up.